Let's talk Tanya for the 12th of Nisan of a leap year. So in yesterday's Tanya, we gave a meditation, which a person can do every time before they do a mitzvah, before they daven, before they study Torah, to enter a yira space. And the crux of that meditation was that the knowledge that we're standing before God, imagine this great king, you're standing in front of this great king, that itself is an awe-inspiring thought. In today's Tanya, Alter Rebbe is going to say, furthermore, it's not only that we can gain yira, we can arrive at yira by thinking about God's presence in general. Also, when we contemplate that which we're about to do, that itself also brings you to yira. You're about to do a mitzvah. You're about to study Torah. Do you know what's going on? You're learning Torah. Your mind right now is going to be filled with God's wisdom. You're doing a mitzvah. At that moment when you do a mitzvah, as we learned numerous times throughout Tanya beforehand, you are being subsumed in God's will, surrounded, embraced, subsumed in God's will. There's an absolute unity that's happening between you and God when you learn Torah, when you do a mitzvah. Taking a moment to think about that also would bring you to an awe, a reverence of what's about to happen. So that's level number 2. Number 1 is thinking about in general. I'm in God's presence. We spoke about that yesterday. Today is thinking about the mitzvah. And that is true about all the mitzvahs. And then there's another step, a third step, which is it's not only you should be thinking about the fact that generally speaking, I'm doing a mitzvah. And every time I do a mitzvah, I'm uniting with God, being subsumed in the infinite light of God. But actually, every single mitzvah also has a unique quality or faculty to it. And thinking about that also increases the yira quotient that you are experiencing at this moment. For example, the Alter Rebbe gives an example of putting on tefillin. So when you put on tefillin, so the tefillin has 4 different scrolls in it, 4 different passages from the Torah. And the head tefillin is 4 scrolls, and the arm tefillin is 1 scroll, but it's 4 different passages. What do those 4 different passages represent? So they represent Chachma, Bina, and Das. Wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Our wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Now, you might say, my math is off because that's 3 and this is 4. And the answer is that Das, which is the capacity to connect to that which we understand, divides into 2. Because when I connect to an idea, so I can connect either, and that can bring me to a place of ava, a place of love, or a place of yira, a place of reverence. The same thought that I have, for example, thinking about the greatness of God could lead me to have a feeling of love, a desire to attach to Him, or a feeling of awe and reverence. So therefore, das is divided into 2. So when I'm putting on tefillin, what is actually happening right now is that my chachma bina das, my intellectual faculties right now are being subsumed in God's intellectual faculties. So it's not only general that every mitzvah connects me to God, but also every specific mitzvah connects me to God in a specific way. And that's also something to contemplate before doing a mitzvah. And obviously to do that, we need to learn. We need to learn Chassidus, and we need to find out what is the unique character of every single mitzvah, so that we can, before we do the mitzvah, we can think about it and also arrive at our awe for God in that way also. Tomorrow's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is going to address a question which some of you might be thinking, okay, but what about if I take a few minutes and I think about this before I do a mitzvah, or before I daven, or before I learn Torah, but I don't feel that awe, I don't feel that reverence. Is it a waste of time? We'll find out the answer to that question in tomorrow's Let's Talk Tanya.